The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the human delegation entered. Admiral Zixhai of the Krellian Empire couldn't suppress the clicking sound his mandibles made, what his species considered laughter. The creature before them stood barely, 5.5 feet tall, her pale skin marked with what the database called freckles, and hair the color of dying stars. Dr. Sarah Chen, according to the files. A physicist from a backwater planet that had only achieved faster-than-light travel 3 cycles ago. "This is their representative?" Fleet Commander Vorth rumbled, his 6 arms folding in amusement. "The species that still uses chemical propulsion to escape their gravity well?" The Altarian delegate, a crystalline being whose form shifted with each thought, resonated with harmonic laughter. "They want to join the Galactic Defense Initiative? Their most advanced weapon is barely equivalent to our construction tools." Dr. Chen stood motionless at the center of the chamber, her dark eyes taking in the assembled representatives of 47 star systems. She carried only a simple data pad and wore what appeared to be a basic environmental suit, primitive by galactic standards. "Honored delegates," she began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's translation matrix. "I come not to seek membership through displays of military might or technological superiority. I come to offer Earth's greatest weapon." This prompted another round of alien laughter. Admiral Zixhai leaned forward on his biomechanical throne. "And what might that be, little Earthling? Your chemical rockets? Your primitive nuclear arsenal?" "Our stubbornness," Sarah replied simply. The laughter died. Admiral Zixhai had lived for 4 centuries, commanded fleets across 3 galactic wars, and conquered 17 solar systems. He had never heard such an answer. "Elaborate." Sarah touched her datapad, and holographic displays filled the chamber. Images of Earth flashed before them. Humans in radiation suits rebuilding after nuclear disasters, rescuers diving into tsunamis, scientists working in laboratory conditions that would kill most galactic species within minutes. When the Yellowstone supervolcano erupted 73 years ago, evacuation was impossible for millions. Other species would have retreated, found new worlds. Humans stayed. They built underground cities, developed atmospheric processors, and lived in conditions that should have been uninhabitable. When the radiation cleared decades later, they emerged and rebuilt civilization stronger than before. The Altarian delegate's crystalline form darkened. "Survival instinct exists in all species." "Not like ours," Sarah continued. "When the Hindenburg II space station suffered catastrophic decompression 60 light-years from Earth, the crew of 18 had enough life support for maybe 6 people to reach the nearest habitable system. Standard protocol for any civilized species would be to draw lots, sacrifice the few for the many." She tapped her pad again. New images appeared. Humans jury-rigging impossible solutions, cannibalizing ship systems, sharing oxygen supplies in ways that pushed the limits of biology. Instead, engineer Marcus Volkov spent 47 hours in hard vacuum, using his own body heat to weld hull breaches shut. Dr. Amara Okafor performed surgery on herself to remove a lung so it could be used to create a makeshift atmospheric recycler. Every single crew member survived the 8-month journey home because no human was willing to let another die while they could still think of solutions. Fleet Commander Vorth's 6 arms had gradually lowered. "Impossible. The medical data doesn't support." "The medical data assumes rational behavior," Sarah interrupted. "Humans aren't rational. When we're told something can't be done, we take it as a challenge. When we're told the odds are impossible, we find ways to change the odds." The chamber remained silent. Sarah continued, her voice growing stronger. 3. Months ago, the Void Seekers arrived at the edge of our solar system. Your databases call them the galaxy's perfect predators, a swarm intelligence that has consumed 43 civilizations. They sent their standard message, surrender or be devoured. Admiral Zixhai felt his combat implants activate involuntarily. The Void Seekers were the reason the Galactic Defense Initiative existed. Every military in known space feared them. Earth's response was a single transmission, Sarah said. A human child's voice saying, "Come and try." The hologram shifted to show space battles that defied everything the assembled delegates understood about warfare. Human ships, laughably primitive, performing maneuvers that should have liquefied their crews. Pilots flying direct collision courses with Void Seeker dreadnoughts, detonating their ships' power cores while screaming battle cries. Ground forces charging hive clusters with nothing but ballistic weapons and what the combat reports called absolute fury. The Void Seekers had never encountered a species that treated certain death as merely another tactical consideration, Sarah explained. They expected surrender when their victory became mathematically inevitable. Instead, they found humans who kept fighting when they were outnumbered 1,000 to 1, who turned their own dying ships into weapons, who treated retreat as a concept that simply didn't exist. The final hologram showed the Void Seekers' retreat. The first in galactic history, they left a message, Sarah said, a warning to their own kind. Avoid the third planet of the yellow star. The creatures there are broken. They do not understand that they should die. Admiral Zixhai realized his mandibles had stopped clicking entirely. Around the chamber, delegates who had ruled star systems for millennia sat in stunned silence. Sarah closed her datapad and looked directly at each delegate in turn. Humanity offers the Galactic Defense Initiative our greatest strength, the absolute refusal to accept defeat. When every rational option is exhausted, when mathematics says victory is impossible, when death is certain, that's when humans just begin to fight properly. She paused, letting her words sink in. The Void Seekers will return. When they do, you can have fleets of ships crewed by beings who understand when to surrender. Or you can have humans who have never learned the meaning of the word. Fleet. Commander Vorth was the first to speak, his voice carrying new respect. What do you require for membership? Dr. Sarah Chen, the human they had mocked just minutes before, smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. Just point us toward the enemy. Vote was unanimous.